Well, hello and welcome back to Mod and Pop Thrift. My name's Tom. I'm a full-time eBay reseller and a stay-at-home dad for 5 kids. And got 17 going out today. Some pretty good stuff. Starting at the top, this Minnie Mouse. Judah found this for $5. It's 50th anniversary, which was last year. And it's got the iridescent color. And it's new with the tags. It was $5 at Goodwill. It sold once and the person never paid. We listed it, it sold within a couple of days and the person never paid. And then I listed it again and it sold. So we've had it for probably 6 weeks. But for 2 weeks of that, the store was turned off because we were at Disney World. And then 2 weeks, somebody paid for it and then it got relisted. And anyway, it doesn't have the price, the original price. I looked at it at the park because we bought it before and I was like, hey, there's that thing. Judah, does this look familiar? And I think it was $40 at the park. We sold it for $33, free shipping. Pretty good flip there. A bear t-shirt. This is just a single stitch, not single stitch, double stitch nature tee on a vintage Hanes tag. I thought it was dated. It doesn't seem to be. Black bears. It's just a cool nature tee. Sold for 17 plus shipping. I've had it for a long time. I got it off Whatnot for a couple of bucks. I tried to never spend more than a couple of dollars, $3, $4 a piece on things on Whatnot. So I didn't spend very much on it. This football I saw the other day. It was $1.50 at Goodwill. And there are sold comps as high as like 95 on it, but this one has like a little bit of missing paint here and there, and like see how that one is straight and this one is not, and neither of those two are. So 3 out of those 4 baffles are bent. It has some use and some wear, and I paid $1.50 for it. It's from 1989. So I listed it for $55. I turned down 2 offers of like $25 and $30, and then somebody came in this morning and bought it for full price at $55 free shipping. Yeah, $55 free shipping. So that's pretty good for a Nerf football that I bought this week for $1.50. This marble game, we paid $4 for it this week, maybe at the same time as that football. I was unimpressed with it when I opened it. The box is pretty gross. It's missing some of the pieces, and some of the pieces aren't in great shape. So I listed it for $17.99. It sold in minutes. So I think 3 minutes. So I probably could have listed it much higher, but I had $3 into it. Sold for $17 on somebody international. So I mean, I'm not scoffing at that. I'll take $17.99. I probably just listed it low because it sold super duper fast. But if you've watched this channel for any amount of time at all, you know I would rather sell something for way less than it's worth than sit on it for full price. So I'm totally happy taking 60% of the value of what I might have gotten out of it eventually in order to get it moved, because that's profit, and the point of this is to buy things low and sell them for more money. This open season is not worth your time. This is an empty case. I bought a bunch of empty cases at a yard sale. I thought they were full. The person thought they were full, and I paid her, and then I opened the cases and I was like, oh crap, these don't have any games in them. And she's like, well, I'll just give you your money back. But some of the games were Smash Melee, like Smash Brothers Melee. The empty case I sold for $25. Some other stuff that was really good. Animal Crossing that I sold for almost $40 for just the case manual, and it had like a memory card that was specific to Animal Crossing. And then several of them sold for $15, and I know I got $50 out of the one Metroid that had the game in it. So I was reluctant. I wasn't just going to give her the games back after I bought them for $25. because I knew I was still making money on $2 a piece on the pile. Obviously the math doesn't exactly work out for whatever, but the reality was I paid $2 a piece for a stack of games. Turns out only 1 disc or 2 discs were in there. 3, because there's another one over here that sold. Anyway, and when she realized the mistake, she tried to be like, oh, I'll just give you a refund and you can leave the games here. And I'm like, yeah, I'll keep them. So anyway, I paid $2 for this in that lot, but I made money hand over fist on buying the whole thing. So I listed this and it sold for $7 free shipping. But I owned it and I'd taken pictures of it before it probably isn't worth listing at $7 free shipping, but I'll make $1 or $2. I made money on that the whole market a long time ago. That I could have taken or leave listing that, but I'd rather have the thing sell and I'd rather have the thing sell and get the algorithm stimulated, even if I got to sell it cheap. And we'll have another one of those, which is almost funny. It sold so cheap. Cubs t-shirt.
Oh, hi.
Hi, wife. Bye, wife. Hi, Abby.
Daddy,
Yeah?
is my pink bike allowed in here?
No, you're not allowed to ride your bike in here. Chicago double stitch in the sleeve or in the arm. Yeah, this is double stitch, vintage fruit best, dated 1998. So just because it's double stitch doesn't mean it isn't vintage, and just because it's single stitch doesn't mean it is vintage. Sometimes people get vintage shirts that were single stitch and reprint on those old stock things. And a lot, I know Hollister and a company called Junk Food are remaking, making new single stitch shirts because single stitch is popular, not realizing that single stitch is popular because it's an old, better made shirt. And it has something to do with provenance as much as it does that there's only, it's not like people just want one stitch there. They're missing the mark thinking that single stitch is cool. They don't understand why it's cool, I think. Anyway, it is what it is. That is a shirt that I got at a yard sale for $1, and it sold for $12.99 plus shipping. This is a Chris Webber jersey. Chris Webber was one of my very favorite players when he played college and in the NBA. This is a felt feeling. There are some of these that have a patch, but this one is kind of felt. Champion jerseys do extremely well. One of the last videos, maybe the last video I put up, was buying these jerseys and saying, man, I know that I paid too much for these. And I did pay more than I like and more than most people would probably pay for them unless you're a collector. But I bought them, I paid $20 for this, and it sold in a couple of days for $50 free shipping. And that's one of the 5, and this one's sold already, and that's half of my money back on buying all 5 of them. So champion jerseys do exceptionally well, and they're hot. They're not going to be fast movers, but they are going to get a lot of attention. Under Armour hat sold for $7 plus shipping. I think I paid $2.50 for it at Goodwill. Haven't had it very long. It's just extremely clean. Just a nice hat. I figured somebody would want it, and I was right. Not for a lot of money, but they did want it. I've had these shoes forever. I've stopped buying Asics. These sold for $18 free shipping after being listed and taken down at Sell Similar twice. We talked about these food saver bags already once, And this is the last set. I paid $5 for them. They sell for $31 for the pair, free shipping. It doesn't end up being a whole ton of money, but I mean 10 into 31. I'll print the label and then I'll put the thing up on the screen so you guys can see what. So whatever this number is, that is my end profit minus my $10 cost of goods. So not a whole ton of money, but worth doing when I knew that they would all sell. And I think I bought 8 of them and I sold them in 2 packs. So $31 4 times, or this amount of profit 4 times. Worth the investment. Mad money. I picked up a Mad, like Alfred E. Newman Mad board game. And it turns out it wasn't worth very much, but I only paid $1 for it. Not worth enough to ship the board and the box, so I just took all the accessories out of it and sold it for $6 plus shipping, which is making profit and significantly easier than dealing with the board and the box. I'll just help somebody else complete their board and box game. You can do that with board games sometimes when there's something like that that's like iconic, or they're a board game unto itself that is worth money and hard to find and has a lot of parts, that kind of thing. So like, you guys, if you've been with the channel any amount of time at all, you probably remember the Dark Tower that I paid $75 for, but then I ended up making like $400 selling each individual part. Until I got to the very end and I was like, oh, I'll just auction these off for $1. And they went for $2. And it was like probably still $40 worth of parts. But I got impatient and thought it would do a lot better. Anyhow, piecing out board games can be lucrative, but it's long tail and it's it has to be the right things, because nobody's looking for, you know, some mid-90s Monopoly that is everywhere, or Cardboard Candyland. It has to be the right board games. This shirt I got for free, sent to me in a package when I bought a whole bunch of Whatnot stuff. And that was a thing. I don't do anything with Whatnot one way or the other anymore. But when I was buying 6 months, a year ago, you would buy, and if you bought like 10 shirts, just 3 extra ones would get thrown in, and always a pile of baseball cards. And I'm like, if these baseball cards are so worthless to you that you just ad hoc throw them into every package, just throw them away or recycle them or something, because that's all I'm doing. I never understood that practice. Like, here's a bunch of junk baseball cards I'm going to throw in the package as a bonus. Anyway, this is an NCAA baseball 2015 t-shirt. Hardly worth listing. Sold for $7 plus shipping. Grateful Dead cassettes sold for $10 plus shipping. $10 plus shipping. Grateful Dead cassettes. These are super duper clean. I picked them up in a big lot of cassettes that I sold. All of, except these were the last ones to move. So $5 a piece on those. I think 22 for $60. So I paid like $3. I paid like $3 a piece for them, which, I mean, I only got $5 a piece for these. But in that lot was the Nirvana ones that sold for $10 a piece, and a bunch of them that sold for like $6 or $7 a piece, and these sold for $5 a piece. So I made money on the whole lot, and these did sell. Those are not the most popular Grateful Dead albums, and so that Grateful Dead will do well, but Shakedown Street, and this has a fantastic song on it. Has Touch of Grey, which is a fantastic song, and this one has one really good one, Stagger Lee. It's not an opener. So anyway, but if it was Working Men's Dead, or like their debut album, or you know, a handful of others, they would do better than these two. Comp Grateful Dead stuff. That's the point. You're gonna do well with it. Just make sure that you're not getting into it for more than you're gonna get out of it. Camo shirt sold for $14 free shipping. Single stitch camouflage t-shirts. I don't know if people are wearing them because they think they're cooler because they're a base layer for hunting, but they do well. Happy Hollisters. I bought a bunch of these books in a lot, and I had like 17 that were all individual, like numbered. They have numbers on them. This is H13. I had 2 copies of H13, so I sold this one individually. Sold for $9 free shipping. And the last thing we have is Guns and Roses. This is a modern reprint. And the tag is worth showing you. Bay Island. There's this Bay Island tag. And this Bay Island tag. Bay Island is cheap. So they do not do super... I mean, they're banned t-shirts, so they're going to do okay. But a Bay Island t-shirt is almost never going to do really well. If it's a Bay Island t-shirt or a Wonderland or Brockum, I can't remember how you say that, Bravado, there's a handful that will do really well because the tag that it's on, even if it's a reprint. But this Bay Island is almost always going to be a reprint unless it's like 2015 emo bands. And Bay Island is never going to really perform. You're never going to find a huge banger, home run, pick of the day thing be on a Bay Island tag. Almost never. Like, I'm sure there's some example out there or a couple. But Bay Island makes cheap t-shirts, and then they're graphic shirts that are cool, but they're not high quality and not desirable in the way that a lot of collectible t-shirts are. Forgot to talk about this one. This is Tiger Woods 2004 for the GameCube, and you may remember me selling a GameCube case all by itself because it was a 2-disc case, and I'm like, 2-disc cases do better than regular empty cases. And so a game like Tiger Woods that has 2 discs but comps for $7 plus shipping is, you're better off to take the game out and sell just the case for $16, which is exactly what I did. And then I listed this game because I'm like, what, am I gonna throw it away? And I listed it for $4 plus shipping, and so I had a watcher on it. And I hate to have watchers. Like, if the thing that says send offers to watchers is on my screen, I'm going to send offers to, and like, I had 1 person left, and I left it for like a day and a half that was somebody watching this that was $4. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to send them a 5% off offer to get it off of my screen, $3.80. And they pulled the trigger immediately. Like, they were waiting for me to send them an offer on a $4 item. And so this sold for $3.80 plus shipping, and I have it brought up right here. It's going to cost me, the buyer paid $5.55 shipping on $3.80, and it's going to cost me $4 to ship it, but they're all in at $8. But I made the money selling the case and decided not to throw this away. So it's not like I was trying to make a fortune on it, but it is what it is. Any GameCube double disc games, the case, like a lot of the games, Mario Double Dash, a couple of Metroids that have bonus cases, the games are worth enough to sell them in the case. But Medal of Honor and PGA Golf are worth, the case is worth $15 or $16, and you never get $15 plus shipping for Tiger Woods. So that's how I ended up selling a $3.80 video game, and the buyer spent more shipping. Anyway, today's the day. There's no more first class mail, and like something like 15 of my 17 items going out were Ground Advantage instead of Priority. I downgraded a couple from Priority to Ground Advantage because it's so much cheaper, and the time frame is like within a day. And then a handful are, I'll smack my own wrist for that. And then the media it was like 25 cents to go from media on those cassette tapes from Media Mail to Ground Advantage, because Media Mail went up and Ground Advantage came down. And so I upgraded some, I downgraded some, and almost everything's going Ground Advantage. I think Ground Advantage is going to be a good thing, as long as, and here's my caveat. There is, I'm not going to say this exactly right. If you're way more familiar, then I'm going to mess something up. But the overall idea is that USPS has to get congressional authorization to raise the rate on stamp mail. Say hi, Levi. Bye-bye. And I think that first class is that way as well. And so I wonder if putting all this together could be a backdoor to being able to raise, because now Ground Advantage is competitive with UPS, and on those competitive rates they don't have to compete. They don't have to get, they can stay competitive with the market and don't have to try to compete with, they don't have to get center authorization in order to change their pricing. It's not as much of a rigmarole. So bringing first class away from, I wonder, I'm not super familiar with how it works, but I wonder if it might be a way to get out from under the thumb of Congress and be able to raise prices in the future. And so it's lower now, but it's a backdoor to higher later. But I don't know how it works very well. Right now, I'm very happy with it. But there's like that concern in the back of my head that it might be a backdoor to being able to circumvent the red tape that keeps them from being able to raise the prices dramatically. Hopefully that isn't the case. Normally, I'm not the doom and gloom conspiracy theory, the sky is falling guy. I try really hard not to be publicly. Sometimes I am in my head. But there is that, like, is this gonna be better for going forward, or is this better now so that they can mess with it later? I don't know. Anyway, Ground Advantage started today, so I got to get this stuff out of here. Now it's 9:30, and I should have at least an hour to get all this stuff packed. Also, something that just occurred to me as it was happening, you can't use priority boxes with a Ground Advantage. And so if you end up sending, I have a huge stock of priority boxes because I use priority mail so much. But I will be using those less and buying my own boxes more. So, I mean, probably the price advantage, the price difference is worth the cost of the box, but it is something to keep in mind. I'm going to have to stock more of my own boxes and less priority free boxes. This is a $55 toy football, but I still feel a little bit silly putting a Nerf ball in bubble wrap. like, does it really need the bubble wrap? No. But the customer who spent $55 on a toy football wants it to show up looking like somebody cares about it that shipped it. So it's just funny. Also, on the subject of Ground Advantage, it has $100 of free included insurance. And they're like, that's a big deal. And I've heard people say, wow, I can't believe they did that part. That's a big deal. That really, sells me on the whole thing. How cool is that? But have you, and maybe this will be the thing you guys can talk about in the comments, have you ever made an insurance claim on a package? Have you ever been paid from an insurance claim that you made on a USPS package? And was it worth the time to get the money back? Because, like, if I had to spend 3 hours on the phone and filling out filing paperwork for $100 package. I would say that I'd be hard pressed to think $100 would probably be close, but if I had a $65 package, then it took me 3 or 4 hours of fighting with UPS to try to, or USPS to try to get the money back. I would say that might not be worth it. And so where I feel like I've never heard anybody say, oh, it was totally positive. They just, you know, acknowledged the fault and cut me a check. If that was the case, then that would be great. But I think that $100 worth of insurance as opposed to $50 worth of insurance on things they don't pay out on and that most of the time you never use, I think it's a little bit of a moot point. But I think there are a lot of people who are like, oh, that's a really big part of, I'm so glad that first class packages now have, you know, what would have been first class packages now have $100 worth of insurance included. I don't know that I see that as a net positive. I mean, it's not negative, but I don't know that it actually adds anything because it's insurance that maybe you probably will never use and maybe you can't use because it's time prohibitive. I'm gripey today. Are you riding your bike to the mailbox with me?
Yeah.
So that sold for $9 plus shipping. And that is everything. I got to get it packed. It's 9 o'clock now. I started way earlier, but then I had issues with my internet, and then I have children, and the wife and baby girl interrupted. And I don't mind the interruptions, but I'm trying to, I need to get this stuff out to the mail before the mail shows up. So that's what we're going to do. Thanks for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, and all the things that you do. We'll see you on the next one. There we go. That's a day's worth of packages at the mailbox. While I was editing, I walked 1.1 miles at almost 2 miles an hour. Took me 40 minutes, and I was at a 8-something incline, and I did that like hands-free and editing this video on my phone. So I am sweaty and wore out, but I worked out on the treadmill today. Ugh.